Hey guys, it's Mike here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Incredibles 2. Coming out 14 years after the original Incredibles, Incredibles 2 picks up right after the end of the first movie, as the superhero family resume their battle against the evil Underminer. However, due to the devastation and events of the last movie, the family finds themselves without a home or employment. However, when a wealthy entrepreneur approaches Elastigirl with a new job, she takes the offer and returns to fighting crime. Meanwhile, Mr. Incredible has to stay at home with his superpowered children and learn to solve problems with their home lives. However, as a nefarious plot unravels involving supers, a new villain emerges who would threaten the entire Incredibles family. Now, I really loved the original Incredibles when I saw it as a kid, and I watched it many times since the theatrical release over the 14 years since it was first released. I know many other fans of the first movie who've done the same, and who've been very patiently awaiting this new one. As a result, there are some big expectations for this movie, especially considering how good the first one was. So the film had to at least be good, and I would say that it ended up being better than I expected. Incredibles 2 was a fun addition to the superhero genre that had some big action scenes and some big laughs along the way. Just like in the first movie, the story found a way to blend the very comedic scenes within the overall narrative that they were telling, which was really interesting. The plot of the film largely focused on superheroes being banned and Elastigirl's efforts to bring them back to prominence and change the public perception of supers in the current society. However, along the way, a villain named the Screenslaver is taking control of broadcasts and even taking control of other people in an effort to stop these superheroes from returning. And this leads to some great action sequences, which are up there with many live-action comic book movies, such as a train sequence which reminded me a lot of Spider-Man 2. And of course, director Brad Bird once again returned on this movie and made sure to display Elastigirl's power in a variety of cool ways. As for the rest of the family, that's where a lot of the story in this film really comes from. There's a role reversal as Mr. Incredible is now the one watching over the kids, trying to help with Dash's homework, Violet's boy troubles, and Jack's increasingly crazy set of powers. And while we've seen this storyline done tons of times before, it's still fun to watch here, and Jack really ends up being a show stealer with all of his hilarious scenes and power-related mishaps. I wish we had got to see more of the family fighting together as a team, but when they were together, they were great like in the first film, and still a much better version of the Fantastic Four than anything we've gotten in the movies, especially the last one. As far as the animation, this film looked great. Pixar has been continuing to improve their technology over the years, and as a result, this movie looks even better than the original. Not only in terms of art, but also virtual lighting and cinematography are all very much on point. Most of the original voice actors also returned, with Craig T. Nelson as Mr. Incredible, Holly Hunter as Elastigirl, and one of my favorites, Samuel L. Jackson as Frozone, and he made sure to wear the damn super suit this time too. It was also cool that the movie started with a live-action featurette where the voice actors discussed how long it had been since the original, and how many fans had been waiting. So it's nice that they rewarded fans here, and the film definitely feels like it was made in part for those fans, while still appealing to children. As for any real negatives, the biggest one for me would have to be the villain. The way the villain is set up is really obvious, and you can tell for the most of the movie who it's going to be. The villain also isn't really as interesting as Syndrome from the first film, who was far more relatable and whose motivations and overall plans were more solid. The connection between he and Mr. Incredible was also far more personal than what we see here, and the pacing at points was also a little slow. There's a few too many scenes of Elastigirl sitting around talking, the family having the same issue for too many scenes, and scenes that could have been trimmed down without really losing anything of substance. So overall, Incredibles 2 is a fun animated movie that has some great action and a lot of laughs, but I don't think it's quite as good as the first one, in large part because of the villain and overall story. However, it's another strong entry into the superhero genre and another quality movie from Pixar. I'm going to give Incredibles 2 an 8 out of 10. So what did you guys think of Incredibles 2? Did you like it, and what would you rate it? Let me know down below. And if you're new to this channel, then make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so you can see all of my content right away when it comes out. And make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.